Hey everybody, welcome to the second part of how to show proof of income, ways you can get approved for a car or a home. I got back from my trip from New Orleans Mardi Gras about, I want to say 3 days ago, and it's been 8 days since I posted a video. I had such a blast, but let's go ahead and get into the video and I'll come back with my commentary.
Okay, so lately I've been seeing a bunch of stuff on TikTok about like apartment hacks and pay stubs, bank statements for when you're getting into apartments. You guys are doing it all wrong. Get away from all the fraud. You don't need to do any of that. I can give you a guaranteed proof legal way how to get into any apartment complex you want without having to fudge your bank statements or pay stubs or do any weird stuff. All you got to do is when you find the apartment you want, you either create an LLC or your friend, I'm sure one of your friends will already have an LLC for a business, create an offer letter for yourself that has 3 times, say you'll make 3 times the income of what's needed for the apartment, and, sign at the bottom and give the HR number as your friend who owns the LLC, so he would be the HR of that LLC. And when the apartment complex and calls and verifies, they'll say, hey, does this person work for you? And they'll say, not yet. They're starting in 3 days or X amount of days. And the apartment will say, well, do they plan on making X amount? And they'll say yes. Your friend will say yes, they do plan on making that amount. And you're in. No bank statements needed. No pay stubs that you need to fake. No weird stuff. You just get in. I've done it. It works. Try it. I promise you it'll work. And it's legal.
Income statement is one of the most important financial statements that we'll encounter in Intro to Accounting. So you need to know how it works. So we take our revenues, subtract out all of our expenses. Once we calculate our income tax, we'll take that out as well. That leaves us with net income. It's important to know net income goes from our income statement to our statement of stockholders' equity, where it's added into retained earnings, which then appears on our balance sheet. So that's how revenues and expenses ultimately impact our balance sheet, is through retained earnings. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And as always, let's get it done.
Hi everyone, so I am a leasing consultant and today I'm actually going to teach you how to income qualify yourself for an apartment. At the apartments I work specifically, you do have to income qualify 3 times the rent amount. We're going to do Miami. This is just an average price for 1 bedroom in Miami is about $1,622. That's your rent, okay? So now all you have to do is literally times 3. That leaves you with $4,866. So that's what you would have to make gross to income qualify for $1,622.
I recently had a 20-year-old come in and he was trying to leave with a car. Now, as soon as we sat down, the first thing that he told me, brother, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. I have no proof of income. Can you work with me? You guys already know my follow-up question was, what's your credit? He told me that he was hovering around a 640, 650 score. Now, if you guys didn't know this, if you have a high enough credit score, usually the banks never ask you to prove your income. So no pay stubs, no bank statement, no nothing. Given that he's a 640, 650, I'm like, how much money do you have down? Now, I'm not gonna lie, he came ready to go. He said, I got 4 to 5K down, let me know. I told him straight up, listen, I'm gonna submit to the bank with 4. If they need the 5, then we use the 5. The car that he was trying to get was a 2022 Elantra Limited, so very, very reasonable car, nothing crazy priced. I think the car was only like 18, 19,000. Nevertheless, we submitted over to the bank and about 10 minutes later, boom, the approval comes back. Now, when I say the approval, I mean the approval, not approvals. It was only one bank that got it done. Long story short, he did leave with a car. He didn't have to prove income. We did another car deal.
If you've been trying to get a new car, I'm going to tell you the best route to go. Do not just go to car lot after car lot and let them run your credit through a bunch of different lenders. What you want to do is go through your bank and get pre-approved before you go to any car lot. I have bought all my cars using the bank that I bank with, and when I tell y'all it saves so much time and energy, it's the best option. Now, I would recommend a credit union. Credit unions are literally the best route to go when it comes to getting financing for a car. If you do not have a credit union, you can also use Capital One. I highly recommend Capital One. Now, what you're going to do with the credit union or Capital One, you're going to go on their website and apply for an auto loan. So with most banks, you can get pre-approved without them even hurting your credit. And that's the best route to go. So we're going to use Capital One as an example. So when you are applying to get pre-approved, I'm going to tell you the main factors that they are looking at. Outside of your credit, because your credit does matter, you also want to worry about the job that you are putting. Whatever job that you are putting, the amount of money that you make per year matters. The more money you make, the better your approval chances are. Now, outside of your income, your length on the job also matters. The longer you put that you've been working on the job, the better your approval odds are. They're also going to ask you about your expenses like rent, etc. You want to put lower amounts. Whatever your monthly income is, you want to make sure it shows that you have low expenses versus your income. That way they can see, oh, you don't have that many expenses, so you can still afford to pay us our monthly payment. But if you put on there that you make $4,000 a month, your rent $2,300 a month, and whatever other expenses, it's going to look like, dang, how you going to pay us back? So keep that in mind. Now, once you go through with adding your income, the length of employment, etc., you're going to go ahead and submit everything else as you normally would. And it's going to tell you your pre-approval odds. It's going to tell you if you're pre-approved with Capital One, and it'll give you a balance between a set amount. Now, once you get that, you are good to go. The next step is going to be shopping within the approved car lots. So once you get pre-approved from Capital One, for instance, they are going to tell you all of the car lots that they do financing with. You want to stay within that list because that's who Capital One would send the money to. If it's not within that list, then, you're wasting your time. But the good thing about it is most of the banks, they work with a lot of car lots. So you don't even have to worry about that. That's not going to be your issue. So once you find a list of car lots that have cars that you're interested in, then you want to start going to the car lot to test drive. Now, once you find a car or a few cars that you are interested in, that's when you're going to start the application process with the car lot. Now, this is the most important part. When you are giving the car lot your information, make sure you tell them, hey, I was already pre-approved with Capital One or blank credit union. I was already pre-approved, and that's the only lender I'm interested in working with. Do not run my credit with any other lenders. Make sure you tell them that, because some car lots will be sneaky and slick, and they will try to literally run your credit with everybody else because you didn't tell them, oh, I was pre-approved with Capital One, or you told them that and they just tried to disregard it as if you were open to other lenders. No, make sure you tell them before you give them your social or anything of that nature, I only want to go with the lender that I am pre-approved with. That is very important, because my thing is, when you are pre-approved with these banks, they do have guidelines. They're not going to approve the financing if the car has been like salvaged or things of that nature. And the sales reps at those car lots, they know that. But they know there are some crappy banks that'll literally approve it. So to save yourself the trouble, make sure you verbalize and tell them, I only want to run my information through Capital One. This is who pre-approved me. Only send my information to them. And once they send your information over, you are good. They're going to tell you, hey, they approved it and we good for this car. Or they'll tell you, like, let's say the car that you're interested in with all the fees and everything, it comes up to $27,000, but Capital One is only willing to give you $25,000. You are either going to have to put down that extra $2,000, or you will have to shop within that limit of $25,000, which is fine. You might not be able to get that car, but you can find a car within that limit. But the main objective is to go to the car lot already pre-approved. Do not go there allowing those car lots to continuously pull your credit. You are going to drop your credit score. It's going to hurt your credit score, and it's just not necessary. Go through your bank, get pre-approved, and most banks will literally write the check. My very first car that I got through financing, the bank, my credit union wrote me that check for $10,000. That's what I was approved for back then, and I took it to the car lot. This is what we got to work with. I'm not giving y'all no money. Figure it out. So they were able to help me shop within my $10,000 limit. So I'm telling y'all, it works. It is a lifesaver. Go to that bank. Get that pre-approval from that bank. Do not let these car lots continue to mess up your credit and carry on, because they will get you. Okay?
Here's my income tracking for June as a self-employed hairstylist. So what I like to do is first make sure that I'm keeping track of every client I see, how many I see, and then I add them up at the end of the day, or at the end of the week. And then I track how they pay me: cash, credit, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Apple Pay. You'll notice I don't really use credit or debit just because we have all these apps now, and I still would rather get paid cash. So here was a light week, and what I do is I'll just add up, and then at the end of the day, I'll add up the numbers in the row, and then I'll add it here, and then at the end of the week, I'll add up all of my daily numbers, and then I get my weekly total. And then you just continue to do that throughout, and as you continue, you'll see that I do this because when I'm done, I like to divide this into this number. I forgot to put that number, but I'll divide that so I know what my average dollar is per client. And that's just good to know as far as pricing goes. So I know I'm not falling behind on my prices. And then once I'm done for the month, I'll add up all my weekly total numbers, and then I add it up here. So it's actually pretty simple. I hope that makes sense for some of you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. And then also, this budget binder is in my bio. Thanks, guys.
So I got you approved, 2011 Chevy Spark, cheap payments. Go ahead and sign right there, all right? All we need is proof of income.
Proof of income?
Yes, sir. Proof of income. You got to be able to prove your money.
So I can't really do that, but I don't really got proof of income right now. Just the way my job's set up, bank account, the way my bank
What's
account's
going on,
set up.
man? What's going on in your life?
I just, I don't got. I'll be the best customer though. You trust me. I make these payments, on time, every single time. I'll be the best customer experience. You can trust me. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be the best customer experience you got.
I like you. You're on probation.
I mean, probation, but not for drugs.
Can you pass a background check?
There was that time in 2008. I don't know if I can.
You got locked up?
I don't really talk about that. But, you know what I'm saying?
Can you pass a drug test?
You think you could pee for me?
Okay, so you're one of those. You're actually the perfect candidate. So go ahead and sign right here. This is the application for the job. Pays about $17 an hour.
17.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
I don't
Go ahead
know.
and sign right there. You're the best candidate. Go ahead and sign right there. Got you a job. Pays $17 an hour, man. You can do this.
I don't know if I can't sell cars. What are you talking about? You talking about
sell cars?
I ain't never sold cars before. This is 17 an hour.
You know, can I see your hand? Can you pull your hand out right there?
So, wait,
like
this?
motion.
I ain't never.
And then go this way. Then go this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gonna do this with
is
on
for
the
a
paper.
detailer. It looks like you can wax on and wax off pretty good. Go ahead and sign right there. 17 an hour. We'll get you a paycheck stub printed out. That way you can prove your income and you can drive off with a new car today, buddy. Sign right there. Go ahead. Let me see that signature. Oh yeah, that's a nice autograph. Then go ahead and sign right there.
For the car, I'm
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You need a new car. You got to be able to pay for it. All right. You start today. I got about 3 cars. You're kind of behind. Here's your uniform. Yes, sir. Get to it. Congrats, sir.
Start right now.
Congrats, sir.
All right, as you can see, I got my little beads on around my neck. I was wearing a romper, and it is also not allowed anymore for indecent exposure. So of course I didn't show anything, but did get me some beads. And I wanted to kind of go back on what the gentleman in, I believe, the second video had said. He said basically you can write your own letter once you start an LLC. So it's easy, but it's not common. So if you pay yourself from an LLC as a W-2 employee, just don't say anything basically that you own the LLC. So that's the less common one, right? The more common one, the LLC will want a certification from your CPA. If you don't use a CPA, or a EA, maybe just copy, use some copies of your tax return, just depending on the LLC management company. So that's the more common one. So you can always get help from your EA CPA. I am a tax professional, currently going to get my enrolled agent, and then we'll be going to get a CPA as well. And I just feel like you guys already know like the basics, and keeping track of expenses, income, how to get an LLC. So I wanted to kind of dig a little deeper and talk about something different that maybe no one else is talking about, because I just feel like you guys already kind of know the basics, and it would just sound like repeated information. And not saying all of you, just some of you know all the basics already. So I want to talk about something different. But put in the comments, tell me what you think. Have you ever, dealt with the car dealership or a home company kind of giving you a hard time when it comes to proof of income? And I am doing coachings as well, so feel free to email me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week.